What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. I wanted to talk about free agency for a little bit as it's starting to cool down and smooth out a little bit. I wanted to say pick some winners, some losers from the NBA draft and from free agency. And one of them, as you can tell by the title, is the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that we all thought will be competing for a championship, a team that obviously had proved a lot of people wrong, including myself, when they was able to pull off a 50-win season, including Joel Embiid missing a significant amount of time in the playoffs and in the regular season. Um, at the end of the day, we thought that they would get that third guy to go along Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and push them into championship contention and put them over the top. And they tried to get LeBron. Obviously, you seen when Joel Embiid and them got put out and LeBron got put out in the finals, they was doing the Draymond Green thing, which was jumping on the bandwagon trying to recruit LeBron. And it didn't work because LeBron went to LA. And then you heard reports that Kawhi Leonard might go to Philly because Greg Popovich doesn't want to trade Kawhi Leonard to the West, and it was smart that they didn't. And then he ended up getting traded to Toronto instead of Philly, which if they would have got Kawhi Leonard, they would have took them to the next level to have three potential All-Star, All NBA players on one roster so fast and so early. But they didn't want to get rid of Markelle Fultz, was a report. They didn't want to get rid of the package that would have, possibly took them to where they're trying to get, which is to the NBA Finals and come out that East. And then you look at a team like Boston, a team that technically gets better because they get a healthy Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving potentially in the playoffs. They have more talent and they beat them with less talent in the playoffs this year, even though the Philly kind of beat themselves and hurt themselves by turning the ball over, making a lot of mistakes and just being young and naive. They ended up losing and blowing that series. But also, the Celtics get two more All-Stars back to their roster potentially, and it makes them even tougher and harder to beat with that new talent coming back. Well, with the talent coming back healthy and full. So, Philly, we all thought was going to be big winners. We all thought they was going to get that piece. We all was waiting for them to make that blockbuster move, that blockbuster trade, and they ended up never even doing it throughout the whole free agency. Their biggest deal was either in the draft, if you count that, or just trading for Wilson Chandler. Um, One thing I will say is their biggest improvement is going to come from internal growth, them getting bigger and better as they continue to grow and they bodies study, develop, and the fact that Wilson Chandler is a solid 3 and D, but he might not be better than Robert Covington. To me, Robert Covington is the better shooter and he's the better defender, and he actually was an All NBA defender on top of that, so that's proof. But not only that, seeing how Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons continue to develop and seeing with Markelle Fultz, a guy that played basically nothing, I mean, not at all, um, a guy that had no impact on the team whatsoever, he gets a chance to get more minutes and we get to see what he can do and what he can bring to the table. And he could be their biggest X factor depending on what they get out of him. And that could actually be the biggest piece that they need is a healthy Markelle Fultz, the number one pick, the over unanimous number one pick, and he didn't even get to the NCAA tournament. So this guy can play. I haven't gave up on him. I don't think he's a bust. I don't think his career over. And he's a guy that can score the ball in multiple ways, shoot the ball, handle the ball, play off the ball, knock down three-point shooter, a guy that can create shots for others and his teammates. So at the end of the day, I think that Philly should be disappointed on their off season so far. I think they're the biggest losers because everybody thought they was going to make that move to put them up there with Boston and pass them up. But instead, everybody that probably saying that Boston is the best team in the East. Boston's going to take over the East. And Philly was supposed to be in that argument. Now, they still might go to the Eastern Conference Finals They still might make a huge playoff run or win 50 to 60 games in the East. But we know that if they would have added Kawhi, if they would have added, Paul George or LeBron, they would have been even considered championship favorites, or at least up there with the Warriors. And this was before DeMarcus Cousins signed. And even if DeMarcus Cousins signed, you still have Embiid, you still have Ben Simmons, you potentially have Foles and Sarge if you get a guy through free agency. But even if you didn't, you would trade him just to get Kawhi Leonard, who's one of the top 5 players in the league, and an upgrade over Robert Covington. And he can give you 20 points a game and hit spot up threes, mid-range free throws, and everything that you need to contribute to winning. And he's a quiet personality, and he does what's best for the team, and he doesn't mind fitting in. And Brett Brown already has a similar offense to Greg Popovich, so I don't think it would have been that bad of a fit. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Philly was the most overrated team? Do you think they underachieved? Do you think that they didn't do enough? Do you think they still got a move to make? Do you think that they will make that move in by the trade deadline? Or do you think that they're just going to continue to grow, continue to develop, and just focus on the players that they already have now that they lost free agency to a certain extent because it's still not over? Or do you think that they, internal growth is going to be enough for them to compete with Boston and come out of the East? Or do you think that they'll make the move next year? Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about the Philadelphia 76ers. Not really getting that third star to pair with Ben Simmons and Joel.